The dirty words, taxes and assessments. Okay, I'm going there. So here's the deal with taxes and assessments. You know, in the beginning of COVID, when prices were really taking off, the assessors really, they didn't know exactly how they were going to handle it. And it's very understandable. It was a pretty big flight that we were taking in valuations. But as time's gone by, New York State has gotten involved, but it is really up to the municipalities with how they handle it under New York State guidance. But the municipalities basically have all handled it in different ways. In Dutchess County, Putnam County, Westchester County, and these different counties throughout New York State. And for example, in Dutchess County, you know, the towns, some of them are 100% assessed value, and that can vary how they're handling that 100%, whether it's based on the sale price. Usually they are looking at comps when a sale price comes in that's really high off what the ask was, and adjusting accordingly. But some of them are doing 100% assessed value. Some of them are not. Some of them this past May did an across-the-board increase in assessed values, and some of those increases were 17 or 19% across the municipality for an increase in assessment. So people are generally seeing a difference in their school taxes this past September, and we'll probably see that again as well in their property taxes coming out in January. But just because you have an increase in assessment does not mean that you necessarily mean that you have an increase in taxes. Often that is the case, but it's not necessarily the case. You know, so basically the increase in taxes comes from the levy, and in Dutchess County, as an example, the levy has a cap of 2% unless broken. The cap can be broken by public vote at a school board meeting, which happens once a year, and it can be broken for the property taxes at a board meeting, but that's between board members, but it is public and it's held in public. And as far as your own taxes are concerned, if you find that they are, you know, your assessed value really seems a lot higher than it should be, I would definitely encourage grieving with the town. You can grieve every year if you want, but you can only grieve once a year, and there's a hard deadline for grieving in May. The assessors you can contact to find out the specific date for your municipality. That is the deadline, but it is a hard deadline. But I would encourage, you know, looking into that. I do have professionals that can help facilitate a grievance, but it's also something that you really could do on your own by having an appraisal or a comparative done, and really, you know, setting a solid argument that you're overappraised or overvalued in your assessment. So I would look at that, because buyers are definitely very sensitive to taxes, and I know that it's also a situation for homeowners now, for some that have increased taxes, but for buyers, they're very sensitive to it, and it could affect the value of a home if you are potentially overassessed and your taxes are higher than your neighbors. Take care all. Bye.